All right, everybody. So we are back for the PM session. It just got started, so I figured we'd roll right into it. I've got a lot of catching up to do. I've been kind of away. I've got to actually catch up on the AM session. I had a few things come up. I was kind of in and out watching it on the side here, but I wanted to get the PM session up. I'm gonna be moving between catching up what I need to watch on the AM, and then get the PM. And then get into the PM with you guys. So keep the chat going. Wanted to welcome our first official new member, Laura Connor. Last stream, she joined. Thank you, Laura. I do understand there was also some potential issues with super chats and super stickers. If that persists, if you guys try to do it, let me know. If there is any further issues. I did contact support on that. I tested it myself. It seemed like it was working for me, but if there are any issues with that, please let me know so I can continue to send support emails on that. Hopefully there's not. Appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Also, guys, make sure to hit that like button as well if you're in there. I see one of you in there. Hopefully, as everybody comes out, if you start watching this thing from here, hit the like button. Share this. Get subscribed so you can chat. And I will be monitoring this chat while I'm catching up on the AM, and then I will eventually move in and start catching up here. So I'm watching. I've sped it up so that way I can get through it faster, so I can get into the PM and get caught up. Just one of those days where lots of things going on, but it looks like the state's going to be working on concluding it. Allegedly, they might conclude their case today. In the defense, the defense has put on some witnesses with the Spanish-speaking witnesses because the interpreter was there. But we might be seeing Mr. Miu testify come Monday. I know he's going to testify. I was watching some news reports, which we may get into it later tonight in the Justice Watch Live. There's an interesting interview with the defense attorney he was Kyle Rittenhouse's defense attorney. He's actually not the defense attorney in this case. Actually, I thought he was, but he was on and he said he has to testify in order for him to assert self-defense in Wisconsin. He has to testify as to his state of mind and his feelings at the moment, and he could still assert self-defense, but it's going to be very difficult for the jury to find him not guilty if he doesn't testify. So I'm expecting him to testify. I will definitely be in the box for that testimony so we can talk about it live and chat. That's going to be big. I'll be very interested to see how that goes and how the cross goes. I think that's going to make or break this case, how he comes across. Because we've seen people say he looked demonic. He just didn't look like a nice guy. So we'll see. Anyways, let's get into the PM session. And we'll get started here.
We're ready to resume the afternoon with the attorneys, Mr. Miu, all of whom are present. Thank you for your patience. Sometimes during the course of a trial, unexpected things come up. One did, and I had to meet with the attorneys to sort out the solution, which we have reached, and we're ready to continue. Mr. Chaguez, please retake the witness stand. You're still under oath. Mr. Anderson.
Ernesto, you recall you said you don't know if you said to the officer on shore that Nicolai said they took his knife.
T.
Yes.
May I approach?
Yes. Yes.
When you spoke with the officer at the exit, you spoke in English, right?
Creo que sí.
I think so.
I'll show you a transcript. Can you just take your time and look at that? Read through it enough to see if you know what it is.
Want me through everything?
No, does it appear that it's a transcript of your conversation with the officers at the shore?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'm just going to show you. Can you read that? No, just read it to yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, down here. I'll just read it.
Yeah, I got it.
He said that somebody took his knife in his pocket, right?
I said, I don't remember, but if that's what I say, it's okay.
Are you saying you don't think?
I don't remember.
Okay. Judge,
Yes.
so you don't remember if you said they took my knife, but you remember somebody pointing and walking towards you?
I don't remember.
Didn't you testify to that? Somebody pointed and walked towards you and you told them to get back?
Yeah. Sí. Eso sí.
Yes, that I did.
But you never told that to police, right?
Well, they don't ask me.
You never said it either, though. Right?
So in that moment, you can say or remember everything you said. I answer whatever they ask me.
Can we... You also testified that, remember when I asked you if Nick said anything when he was walking by you on his way back to your group?
I don't remember.
And you said you weren't paying attention because you were looking at the guy who was walking towards you, or the person?
Correcto.
Correct.
Okay, I want to go to some frames. I'll let the clerk know when I'm ready. And you did, the officer never asked if somebody was pointing at anyone but at you, but you did say, I told Nick to come and he came and that's it, right?
Correcto.
Correct.
This is from the video. There's some graphic parts in it. This is 3291. I'm ready. I'm going to scroll, and then I'm going to ask you some questions. On 3318, that's Ariel in the American flag shorts and black shirt, right?
Repita. Correcto.
Repeat that. Correct.
Correcto.
This is Nick here,
Correcto.
and this is
Correct.
you.
Correcto.
Correct.
And Nick is standing right next to you, and you're touching his arm.
Sí, cuando va pasando. Correcto.
Yes,
Okay.
when he was passing by.
Do you see anyone in this frame walking towards you?
Ahí en ese momento no veo, en la foto no lo veo.
Okay.
At that very moment in that picture, I don't see anybody.
How about here on 3322?
There is somewhere in there somebody's coming, is pointing us. I don't see it there, but I saw that day.
Okay. I've scrolled a little ways into 3333. See anyone pointing or walking towards you?
No lo veo.
I don't see anybody.
Does it even look like anyone's looking at you?
En ese momento no lo veo.
I don't see anybody at that time.
But depende. La parte del video, o depende de la perspectiva de cómo se ha tomado el video cuando we was not, I don't see those people there. I was down there.
It depends on the time of the video or the point of view of the person who was taking the video.
Stopped at 3359. You can turn off the screen. I'm going to go to another frame. I'm on 3471. That's you right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And you're actually walking towards the camera.
¿Sí?
Nobody's approaching you or walking towards you.
And
No.
no,
Nicolai isn't in this, right?
No lo veo.
I don't see him.
Okay, you can turn off the screen. I'm going to go to another one. Okay. This is 3936. Is that you, Ariel, and Sergio on the top left?
¿Dónde?
Where?
Right here. Sergio, Ariel, You?
Yeah.
Yep.
See?
Yes.
You still haven't walked back to your tubes?
I don't remember.
Well, in the
He's
photo.
standing there, but in the picture, I don't know if it's after or before,
Sure. Okay.
right?
You can turn it off. I have one more set of frames to ask you about. So this is 3936. I'm going to go to later in the video. I'm ready. Do you think this is what you were thinking of after Nick was long gone? This is you, right?
Yeah, that's me.
And here's a girl standing by a group of other women pointing at you from a ways away or in
Right.
your direction.
I'm not sure, but this guy is coming this way from there. Probably one of the guys was in the middle. I said to him, stay there, stay there. The guy is behind the yellow teacher.
This guy,
Probably was that one. It was right here, by in the front. This guy right here.
This
At the
guy?
front here.
right here?
Yeah, no, he's walking here in the picture. You can see he walk. When I say stay there, and he walk the other way. But in that time, he probably was right here when I have my finger, something like that.
Let's keep going. We'll see. And you said before you didn't know if it was a man or a woman, right? Who was pointing, and then and walking towards you and pointing, and then
No, what's a man?
it was a man.
What's a man?
If it was here, it would have been after Nicolai was long gone, right?
¿Cómo?
It would have been
What did you
after
say?
Nicolai. Sorry.
Wait for the interpretation.
It would have been long after Nicolai was gone, right?
Yeah, but the person, when he started pointing me, empezó a señalar hacia nosotros,
Started pointing towards
that's a
us.
start when Nico coming this way. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not sure he was in the picture or whatever the video was right there. He's as like he turned this way to the other people, but before he was a little more far and he pointed to us.
So before, when I asked what did Nicolai say, if anything, to you when he passed you, he said he didn't know because the guy was coming towards you. Now your testimony is that it was later in the video. So do you know what he said to you or no? If anything, Nicolai?
I don't remember.
And you'd agree you got pretty close to where Nicolai was with the group, right?
¿En qué momento?
At what time? What moment?
I'll go back. Can we have the screen? $33.21. You got, and you said you, what did you say you saw for injured people?
What question?
What did you see as far as injured people?
I saw some women the other side. That woman was behind probably this guy. It was like in the middle of the river. And I say, what's going on? Because I don't know what's happening. I saw her and I say, what's going on?
Did you see this man here on 3321?
No,
And you didn't see Nick do anything?
no.
I don't have anything else.
Mr. Nelson?
Can I have the screen? You were asked some questions about slide 3321 that's in front of you.
See,
Yes.
Again, this is you.
see,
It
Yes.
looks like you're reaching out to Mr. Miu, who's standing next to you.
correct.
Correct.
Mr. Miu is walking,
See,
Yes.
he's walking upriver.
see,
Ariel in the
Yes.
flag shorts is walking upriver behind Mr. Miu.
en this moment, en este momento, en el video yo veo a Ariel.
At
Pero
this
before,
moment,
I don't remember what Ariel was.
in the video, I can see him, but before, I don't remember where he was.
I appreciate that. I'm not going to ask you about that. I'm going to ask you about this person here. Do you see the person in the two-tone shorts?
¿Quién es?
Do you see that
Who
person
he
in
is?
two-tone shorts?
I'm not sure.
I'm not asking if you know who he is. I'm just asking you, do you see the person that I'm pointing to in the two-tone shorts?
No.
Right now
No.
on the screen, do you see them?
Ahora sí, ahora sí.
Oh, now I do. Now I do.
Next to that person is a man in a yellow shirt.
Sí.
Yes.
I want to now ask you questions about slide 3922. Okay?
Sí.
Yes.
You haven't watched the video, have you?
Yes.
You
Yes.
agree that you have not?
No.
No.
Poor question on my part. Have you watched the video or have you not watched the video?
No.
No.
The screens, the slides that we're showing you go in sequential order. So the first one is 0, the last one is 4,819. Does that make sense?
Sí.
Yes.
I previously showed you 3321, and now we're showing you something later, 3922. Does that make sense?
Sí.
Yes.
I'm going to blow this up. In the upper left-hand corner, that appears to be you and Ariel and Sergio standing next to each other. Agreed?
Correcto.
Correct.
Pero,
But
and what I said before, in this moment, I don't see this is, si esto es antes o después del problema, porque I don't see the whole video.
I don't know if this is before
Pero sí
or
estamos ahí.
after the problem because I haven't seen the whole video.
If I were to tell you hypothetically, this is after, because we can see a victim or two victims or two people with injuries down. Agreed? Make sense?
Okay.
Okay.
And then over here, way on the right, you see this blur that may be a person without a shirt on walking from a different direction over to your group. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm now going to scroll through the forward in time and I want to show you stuff, okay? I'm going to stop at 39:53. Going to blow this up. Do you see somebody here on the left-hand side?
Yeah.
Is that a man in two-tone shorts that I had previously shown you?
Sí.
Yes.
Had that man ran up to you and then you,
So,
Oh, wait, please.
I'll re-
Objection sustained. Please rephrase.
is this the person that you saw come up to you that you pointed to say, go away?
sí.
Yes.
And as we move forward here in time, the person in the yellow shorts that was in a different spot before is there too, correct?
Sí.
Yes.
And then as we move forward to 4012, excuse me, you now see the woman pointing the finger at you, correct?
Correcto.
Correct.
That's what I'm saying, what's going on.
Understood. When you previously, when you spoke to the police, was there a Spanish interpreter there?
No.
No.
Sometimes when you've spoken today, you've answered in English. Agreed?
Sí.
Yes.
You, fair to say your preferred language is Spanish.
Español.
Spanish.
You know some English.
Sí.
Yes.
If you wanted to communicate something really important and make sure you were accurate, would you say it in Spanish or would you say it in English or would you say it in some other language?
Español.
Spanish.
Why?
Porque hay muchas palabras en inglés que tienen diferentes significados
Because there are many words in English that
y
have different
a la hora
meanings.
de uno contestar, puede ser que la respuesta no sea correcta.
And when one answers, maybe the answer is not the correct one.
Also, when you hear words, is it easier for you to understand the words spoken to you when the words spoken to you are in Spanish rather than in English?
Sí.
Yes.
You answered some questions about your knowledge about your friend Nick being from Romania. I want to ask you about that, okay?
Correcto.
Correct.
Do you know exactly when Nick Miu immigrated to the United States?
No.
Do you know what age he was?
No recuerdo.
I don't remember.
Do you know whether in fact he was or was not in the military at any point?
No.
No.
When you spoke with the police, you told them you thought he might have been in the military for the reasons that you said here because communist countries sometimes require that, correct?
Mandatorio, sí.
Mandatory, yes.
You also told the police that you didn't actually know. You told them several times, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know.
Correcto.
Correct.
Do you have actual knowledge as to whether Nick Miu was in Romania and served mandatory service for his country?
No.
No.
last area here, you said you were able to remember some things that you saw, but you couldn't remember everything that you heard. Would that be fair?
Mhm.
Mhm. Yes.
Do you find it for you easier? Do you find it easier to remember things that you see, or do you find it easier to remember things that you hear?
Cosa que veo.
That I see.
That's all.
Mr. Anderson?
Is your testimony today important?
Súper importante.
Very important.
Sometimes you answer in English
Oh, sí.
Oh, yes.
because you're also comfortable speaking in English.
Because, a veces se lo entiendo, a veces no.
Sometimes I understand it, sometimes I don't.
If you told the officer, he said that somebody took his knife in his pocket, that's something you can easily understand in English, right?
Repita.
Repeat, please.
He said that somebody took his knife in his pocket. You understand that in English, right?
I don't remember.
Do you understand what that means in English?
Sí.
Yes.
And if you told that to the officer 17 times, do you think you said that because you remembered it at the time?
I don't know how many times you say 17 times. I don't remember.
You want to see the transcript?
You can show me.
It's highlighted and there's numbers next to it.
Well, that's what I said, but I don't remember say many times. I don't know.
Do you agree or not agree that you told the officer that 17 times?
I don't remember.
You don't remember that, but you remember something you didn't tell the police from almost 2 years ago?
What do you mean? ¿Cómo que algo que yo no le dije a la policía hace 2 años?
What do you mean? Something that I didn't tell the police 2 years ago.
This is a 13-page transcript, and there's 17 times on here where it says something about, he said they took my knife.
Objection, asked and answered, cumulative.
Sustained. He said he didn't remember.
Nothing else, Judge.
All right. Thank you, Mr.
Torres.
Señor.
My apologies. You are excused. You may step down.
Thank you.
Torres Chaguez.
Yeah.
Yes, that was the part I was missing.
Judge, we have one more witness. I don't know if you want to take a quick 5-minute break before we call the last Spanish-speaking witness.
Are the interpreters prepared to go forward? Good. Let's
Fine,
continue.
Your
then.
Honor.
All right.
about 5 minutes outside your presence, members of the jury. Please take the jury out.
All rise for the jury.
Please be seated. We are outside the presence of the jury, meeting with the attorneys and Mr. Miu. Mr. Smestad asked to approach with a concern. Mr. Smestad.
Your Honor, we were informed by our victim witness staff that some of the witnesses were out in the hall live streaming the trial. They're under sequestration order. Apparently one of those folks is the gentleman who's just about to testify, and I forget his last name, but his first name is Ariel. Obviously that's of concern because if he was watching other folks testify, it defies the purpose of the sequestration order. We'd like to have the court instruct the witnesses again to not be watching the trial.
Did the state's attorneys instruct the witnesses about the sequestration order?
We provided written notice to every witness that met with us. Ariel would not meet with us. But the Spanish speakers we met with, which was Sergio, Tatiana, and Gilma, we gave them written instructions in Spanish not to watch the trial, can't be in the trial, don't read the news.
Okay. Did they understand, or did your written instructions include that this was a court's order?
Yes. We also told them verbally when we met with them, but again, Ariel refused to meet with us, so. I don't
And
know if defense told him he's on their witness list.
Ariel is a defense witness, Your Honor.
Mr. Nelson, was the sequestration order given to?
Not to Spanish-speaking witnesses, no, Judge, I did not have a translation service. Obviously, it's an oversight, and I will change my practice in the future.
All right, what I'll do then, well, let me ask, is there anything else besides tell the witnesses about the sequestration order that you want me to do?
I don't know that there is anything you can do at this point, Judge.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. I'm happy to remind them about the sequestration order, but as long as everyone is satisfied with that being the limit of my involvement, I'll stop.
I'd like to.
I'm not inviting more, let's put it that way.
Sure.
I just want to make sure I'm not missing something.
Sequestration is important, obviously. We don't want witnesses forming their testimony based on what other witnesses have said, especially in this case. The gentleman who just testified, the cross-examination is going to be about the same. They're both the two that walked up to the scene and either saw things or didn't see things. He now knows what to expect on cross-examination. He's seen his friend go through it and heard it go through it. I think, and defense did not tell them about the sequestration order, which is just as much their duty as it is our duty. So I think it is a pretty big problem. I might ask for some sort of curative instruction that defense did not inform their witnesses of the sequestration order. But I think we can address that later. For now, I think it will be a point for cross.
Mr. Nelson, anything to add?
No, Judge.
All right, what I plan to do is invite the witnesses in. I will assume that they had not received or fully appreciated the extent of the sequestration order. I'll explain it to them with the benefit of the interpreters. If the state wishes to cross-examine, you may. So would somebody bring the witnesses in, please?
And Your Honor, the question from the interpreters, are we just gonna interpret right next to that?
We'll just do sequential interpretation. All right. Welcome back, everyone. We have Ms. Costanza. There she is. Ms. Torres. Mr. Ruiz Leyva? He left. Okay. Ms. Ruiz Leyva. Mr. Torres Chaguez. And Ariel. What is your last name?
Chagas.
Okay,
Ariel Chaguez. At the beginning of the trial, I told the attorneys to tell all of the witnesses that they were not to discuss their testimony with other witnesses. I also told the attorneys to tell the witnesses that they were not allowed to watch the trial, either in person or on the internet or television, because we didn't want the witnesses to conform their testimony to what they hear from the others. I was told that one or more of you may be watching the trial while you're sitting in the hallway. I invited you in today so that I could explain to you personally that you may not do so, because we want to preserve your memories about what happened from July 2022, and we don't want your memories to be tainted by something that you may see or hear about this trial. So please, as long as you're needed as witnesses, do not talk about the case with each other or with other witnesses. Please do not watch any TV or internet accounts of this trial. Will you all do that? Excellent. They've all answered in the affirmative. Thank you, everyone. You can go back to the hallway.
Ariel, can you stay? We're going to call you next, so you may as well just wait in here.
Is there anything else we need to address outside the presence of the jury?
No, Judge.
No.
All right, let's bring them in. The hearing assist device is up here. Okay.
All rise for the jury.
Somebody drop something? Please be seated. All right. Members of the jury, thank you for your patience. We are ready to move on. Again, this will be another witness called by the defense, taken out of order to accommodate the Spanish-speaking interpreters. Mr. Nelson, who is next?
Ariel Chuguez Layet, please.
Please raise your right hand. The clerk will administer the oath.
Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give in this matter shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please have a seat in the witness chair. Right over here. Looks like it's falling off his head. Can somebody maybe adjust the size of the wraparound? Perfect. Mr. Nelson.
Afternoon, sir.
Buenas tardes.
Good afternoon.
Can you tell us your name, please?
Ariel Chagas.
Ariel Chagas.
Ariel, do you know this man here to my right, wearing the blue shirt and the red tie and the green jacket?
Sí.
Yes.
Who's that?
Nick.
Nick.
How do you know Nick?
Lo conocí por medio de mi primo,
I met him through my cousin,
Ernesto.
Ernesto.
Have you, how long have you known Nick?
Un poco más de 5 años.
A little over 5 years.
During that time, have you had an opportunity to observe his character, his person?
Sí.
Yes. All right, let's continue. Mr. Nelson?
I'm just going to repeat the question.
Le voy a preguntar.
During the time that you've known him for over those 5 years, have you had an opportunity to observe his person, his character?
Sí, cómo no.
Yes, of course.
Do you consider him to have a character for peacefulness?
Sí.
Yes.
In fact, when the police talked to you about this, you even mentioned that to them, did you not?
Sí.
Yes.
I think when you spoke with the police, they used terms which you agreed with along the lines of
Yes, I'm sorry. The objection is sustained. Next question, please.
You spoke with the police in August of 20 and 22 to a Spanish-speaking police officer. Do you remember that?
Sí.
Yes.
And I want to ask you some questions that Spanish-speaking police officer asked you about your observations of Nick on that day, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Just so we're clear, it's in August of 22 that the police officer is asking you questions about Nick in July 30th of 22. Does that make sense?
Sí.
Yes.
And do you remember the officer asking you if Nick was calm or angry on that day, July 30th, 2022?
No recuerdo si me preguntó eso o no.
I don't remember if the officer asked me that or not.
Let me just ask you this. As you sit here today, do you remember on July 30th, was Nick Miu angry or was he calm or did he have some other character, demeanor that you noticed?
No, solo él estaba calmado.
No,
Persona pasiva.
he was calm. He was calm.
Okay. On that day, July 30th, did you see Nick with a pair of goggles and a snorkel?
Sí.
Yes.
At some point that day, did your girlfriend drop your phone so your phone was lost in the river?
Sí.
Yes.
I want to ask you questions before the phone was lost, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Before the phone was lost, do you remember Nick using the goggles and snorkel to swim in the river at different times?
Sí.
Yes.
When he did that, was he wearing his hat?
No recuerdo.
I don't remember.
Was he wearing his sunglasses when he snorkeled?
La tenía antes de usar el snorkel.
I remember he had them on before using it.
Do you remember that he put his glasses back on after he was done snorkeling?
No, no recuerdo.
No, I don't remember.
Okay. I want to just jump ahead now to the phone and it being lost, okay? What did you guys do when you lost your phone?
Nosotros los empezamos a buscar cerca del área donde se había perdido.
We started looking for it near the area where it had gotten lost.
Did Nick volunteer to do anything?
Sí, él empezó a nadar y a buscar con el snorkel.
Yes, he started swimming and looking for it with the snorkel.
Did he go in the direction that the water was flowing?
Sí.
Yes.
There's a picture there to your left that's marked as Exhibit 12A. Do you see yourself there in the flag shorts?
Sí.
Yes.
Is that the phone or in a lanyard around your neck?
Sí.
What's
Sí.
your phone?
Yes.
What is your phone in? Is it in some protective package? What's that in?
Sí, un cover.
Yes, I cover.
Does that does your phone float when it's in that?
Supongo que sí.
I suppose it does.
You lost your phone that day, correct?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you have that phone now?
No.
No.
Did you get returned to you at some point?
Sí.
Yes.
Who returned it to you?
Un sheriff creo que de aquí.
A sheriff, I believe, from here.
Do you understand the police found your phone eventually?
Sí, lo encontraron.
Yes.
And you got it back?
Sí.
Yes.
Before the police found your phone, did you see Nick go and look for it?
Repite la pregunta.
That was a
Repeat
poor
the question.
You lost the phone. You said you saw Nick go snorkeling or go swim for it. What did you see?
Pues él andaba buscando con el snorkel río abajo.
He was looking for it with the snorkel down the river.
At some point, did you learn that Nick was in contact with other people on the river?
Sí.
Yes.
Was that because something you saw or something you heard?
Lo oí por su mujer.
I heard it from his wife.
What did you hear from his wife?
Ella dijo que Nick estaba en problemas.
She said that Nick was in trouble.
What did you do when you heard that?
So, mi novia me dijo que fuera a ver qué estaba pasando.
My girlfriend told me to go look and see what was going on.
Did you go look and see?
Sí.
Yes.
Did you walk downriver towards where Nick was?
Sí.
Yes.
As you were walking there, what did you see?
Pues primero estábamos bien lejos, no sé exactamente la distancia, pero estábamos lejos.
Well, at first we were very far away. I don't know the distance exactly, but we were very far away.
So, yo empiezo a caminar y iba con mi cerveza en la mano.
So I started walking. I had my beer on my hand.
Y que me voy acercando un poquito, veo que
And I was getting closer a little bit.
Nick estaba cerca de un grupo de personas.
And I saw
jóvenes,
that Nick was close or near a group of people, young people.
y lo que yo entendía de esa distancia es que le estaban haciendo bromas a él.
And what I was able to understand from the distance where I was at is that they were joking or
Bullying.
bullying him.
Alguien le quitó el snorkel y lo tiró río abajo, algo así.
Somebody had taken his snorkel and had thrown it down the river, something like that.
Es lo que iba viendo yo mientras me iba acercando.
That's what I was seeing as I was getting closer.
Entonces, yo iba pensando que era solamente un juego para ellos.
And so then I was thinking that it was just a game for them.
Pero cuando me voy acercando más,
But as I got closer,
veo que muchas personas le empiezan a golpear.
I see that many people started hitting him.
Let me stop you there for a
Deje-
second. Can you describe when you say they
Déjame
were
detener.
hitting them? Was it with their hands, their feet, their knees, fists? Can you just tell me what you saw?
Con las manos.
With the hands.
One person, more than one person?
Varias personas, eran muchas personas alrededor.
Several people. There were many people around.
And when you saw them hit Nick, what happened to Nick? Did he stay standing or did something else happen?
Yo que recuerdo que él se cayó al río,
I
al
rem-
agua.
remember that he fell to the river, to the water.
What happened? What did you see next after Nick had fallen into the water?
Creo que alguien lo estaba como que hundiendo,
I
echando por abajo.
think that somebody was kind of like pushing him down.
Pero todavía sigo yo acercándome, pero iba yo prácticamente caminando.
But I was still getting closer, but I was basically walking.
As you got closer, what did you see next?
Cuando me fui acercando, vi que alguien empezó a sangrar.
As I was getting closer, I saw that somebody started bleeding.
What do you remember next?
Después vi a Nick, estaba como parado. Yo vengo por acá, él estaba como a mi izquierda.
Then I saw, well, Nick was kind of standing up. I was over here. He was to my left.
Y creo que vino una mujer hacia él
And I,
golpearlo.
repita, a golpearlo, dijo.
Una mujer vino hacia arriba de él a golpearlo.
Oh, and I believe a woman came over towards him to hit him.
And then what'd you see?
Nick respondió, pero, se defendió.
Nick
Pero
responded. He defended
muy-
himself.
Ya había muchas personas alrededor
There were many people around,
y fue muy rápido lo que vi.
and what I saw was happened really quickly, really fast.
Entonces, creo que llegué después donde estaba Nick.
And I think later I went to where Nick was, or I got to where Nick was.
And when you got to where Nick was, what'd you do or what'd you see?
Yo solo vi que él estaba, creo que se había levantado.
I only saw that he was, I think he had gotten up.
Yo le topé el brazo a él,
I touched his arm,
pero en ese momento ya había mucha sangre frente de mí de las otras personas.
but at that moment there was a lot of blood right in front of me, blood that belonged to the other people.
So, esto pasó muy rápido, solamente estoy tratando de decir lo que más recuerdo.
That happened very quickly. I'm just trying to say what I remember the most.
Entonces nos regresamos.
So we went back.
Was it hard for you to make sense of what you were seeing and what was happening?
Sí, era muy rápido.
Yes, it was very fast.
Había muchas personas alrededor y mucho disturbio.
There were many people around. There was a big disturbance.
Y es un poco difícil asimilar lo que había pasado.
And it is a little difficult to assimilate or what had happened or to let it sink in.
Are you able now, after some time, to pick out every detail? Or do you just remember what you've said?
No, solamente recuerdo eso que estoy diciendo.
No, I only remember that, what I am telling you now,
Ya ha pasado algún tiempo ya.
because some time already went by.
So, cuando caminamos para atrás,
So when we walked back,
Please wait. Question, please.
What happened next?
¿Puedo seguir?
Can I continue?
Yes, you may.
So, cuando empezamos a caminar para atrás,
When we started walking back,
yo voy en dirección recta para el grupo.
in the direction towards the group, straight towards the group.
So, yo voy a mi izquierda y Nick va a la derecha.
I was on the left side, Nick was on the right side.
En ese momento que hemos caminado un poco,
And at that moment, when we had walked a little,
veo yo que sale de la otra orilla del río el joven con la herida en el estómago.
I see that on the other side of the river was the young man with the injury to his stomach.
Y estaba gritando,
He was shouting,
lo que me hiciste, lo estaba como gritándole a Nick.
"Look what you did to me." He was kind of yelling or shouting at Nick.
Y en ese momento el muchacho cayó al agua.
And at that moment, the young guy fell to the water.
So, entonces seguimos caminando.
So we continued walking,
So, yo me dirigí hacia el grupo.
and I kept going towards the group,
And Nick siguió a la otra orilla del río derecho.
and Nick kept going to the other side of the river, straight.
Did you see Nick do anything at the other side of the river?
Ya yo no le presté no lo seguí mirando yo a él porque fui con mi novia.
I did not keep an eye on him because I went to see my girlfriend.
Did you see Nick? Did Nick join you back at the tubes where your group of friends were?
Sí,
Yes.
At some other point when you're walking back to the tubes, did anybody yell or scream or run up near where you were?
había muchas personas gritando y corriendo. Sí,
There-
iban varios como para el grupo de nosotros. No llegaron cerca, solamente caminaron un poco hacia nosotros.
There were many people
Gritando,
running
pero
and
no recuerdo qué decían.
screaming. Some people came towards our group, but they didn't get too close. I don't remember what they were just yelling and screaming, and I don't remember what they were saying.
Did you respond to them in any way?
No, nunca.
No, I did not.
Did you see Ernesto or Sergio or Nick or anyone else from your group respond to them in any way?
No.
No.
When you were back at the tubes, I want to ask you questions about that, okay? Did you get a chance to kind of make some observations of Nick? Did you see him?
Sí, un poco.
Yes, somewhat.
What did he look like?
Como asustado, como pálido.
He looked like kind of scared, pale.
Those are the only questions I have. Thank you.
Mr. Anderson?
Ariel, is it fair that you're pretty uncomfortable testifying here today?
No,
No?
You don't, you're comfortable up there on the stand?
no entiendo su pregunta.
I don't understand your question.
Ernesto is your uncle?
Mi primo.
My cousin.
Cousin, okay. And he's best friends with Nick.
Sí.
Yes.
Are you friends with Nick, or do you just know Nick through Ernesto?
Se pudiera hacer que amigos, no cercanos, pero ya forma de ser amigos.
It could be said that we're friends, not close friends, but kind of friends.
I want to walk through your testimony. So you saw the young guys, the boys, knock the goggles out of Nick's hands.
Eso fue lo que pude distinguir, lo primero que distinguí.
That's what I was able to distinguish. That's the first thing that I distinguished.
And you were already walking towards Nick when you saw that?
Ya estaba caminando hacia Nick.
Were you already walking towards Nick when you saw that?
Sí, iba empezando a caminar.
Yes, I was starting to walk.
And the young guys were still in their tubes, right?
Oh, no le puedo decir. No sé,
Oh.
no recuerdo.
I cannot answer that. I don't know. I don't remember.
Se supone, creo que estaban parados alrededor de Nick, creo.
I think they were standing up around Nick, I think.
So they were standing around Nick, and they knocked his goggles out of his hands as they were walking up.
Sí.
Yes.
Did you see Nick run up to those young guys before that happened?
La verdad no.
I really didn't know.
Okay. So the next, what was the next thing you saw?
Pues como le dije, yo no iba prestando mucha atención porque pensaba que estaban jugando con él, que estaban haciendo bullying.
Well, like I said before, I wasn't paying too much attention because I thought they were just playing with him. They were just bullying him.
But you're already walking over there because you thought he was in trouble, right?
Sí.
Yes.
So you didn't think they were just playing. You already were worried about him?
Cuando iba llegando más cerca, sí, porque vi que lo estaban golpeando.
When I was getting closer, yes, because I saw that they were hitting him.
Pero eran muchas personas alrededor.
But there were many people around him.
But why were you walking there if you weren't worried about him until you saw him getting hit?
Fue en la forma que actué por mis nervios.
It was the way that I reacted because I was nervous
About what?
Por lo que estaba pasando.
because of what was happening.
What was happening that made you start walking over there before you saw his goggles get knocked out?
No entiendo su pregunta.
I don't understand your question.
Antes de que pasara eso, yo no No había visto nada yo.
Before that happened, I had not seen anything.
You said you were walking over, and as you're walking over, you saw the goggles get knocked out of his hand, right?
Sí,
Yes.
And you were walking over there because you were worried about Nick, right?
sí.
Yes.
What happened before the goggles that made you start walking over there? Did you see anything that happened before that?
Yo empecé a caminar allá cuando su esposa dijo que él estaba en problemas.
I started to walking in that direction when his wife said that he was in trouble.
Okay. So, wife said he's in trouble. You start walking there, and you see his goggles knocked out of his hands. While they're all standing up, what did you see next?
Después que le quitan los galgos, como que ya le estaban dando golpes.
After they took the goggles from him, it was kind of like they were starting to hit him, to give him blows.
And you said several people before. Does that mean
varias personas.
3, 4, 5?
3, 4, 5 años.
No lo puedo decir, no me recuerdo cuántas personas eran.
No, I can't answer that. I don't remember how many people.
And are you far away and still walking there at this point?
Estaba lejos cuando empezó a caminar ahí.
Sí, todavía estaba lejos.
Yes, I was still far away.
But were you closer than when you saw the goggles get knocked off?
Estaba usted más cerca cuando vio que le quitaron los ojos.
Eso fue al principio de yo empezar a caminar.
Repita, por favor.
Eso fue al principio que yo empezaba a caminar.
That was at the beginning when I had just started walking.
When people were hitting Nick,
Cuando los muchachos estaban pegándole a Nick.
what kind of strikes were they? What do you remember?
¿Se acuerda qué golpes eran?
Pues manotazos, las manos.
Well, like
Like,
slapping him with the hands.
What was he standing?
Y él estaba parado. ¿En qué posición estaba él?
pues él estaba parado.
He was standing.
Okay. And then what happened?
Luego, ¿qué pasó?
What do you remember next?
¿Qué recuerda después de eso?
Pues alguien lo tumbó.
Well, somebody knocked him down.
Okay. And then you said he got up and defended himself.
Se levantó y se defendió.
Pues es lo siguiente que vi. Pues lo que pude ver entre todas las personas que había.
Well, that's what I saw next. What I was able to see with all the people that were there.
What do you mean he defended himself? What did you see?
¿Qué quiere decir que estaba defendiendo él? ¿Qué es lo que vio?
Yo vi lo que puedes repetir la pregunta?
I saw
Por favor.
that. Can you repeat the question, please?
You said you saw him defend himself. What did you see?
Dice que lo vio que se estaba defendiendo él. ¿Qué es lo que vio?
Yo vi que cuando él se defendió, es que esto pasó muy rápido, entonces no puedo como qué pasó primero, qué pasó después.
I saw that when he defended himself. Well, it's because this happened so quickly. I really can't tell exactly when it happened.
Cuando yo ya que estaba más cerca, lo vi que una muchacha lo fue a atacar.
When I was closer, I saw that a girl went to attack him.
Y él se defendió, no sé, respondió.
And he defended himself. He responded.
Pero
¿Cómo?
pues yo pienso con las manos, pero no.
Well, I think that with his hands, but
Pero fue muy rápido.
it happened so quickly.
Then what happened?
¿Y luego qué pasó?
Pues cuando ya llegué cerca, empiezo a ver las sangres.
When I got closer, I started to see the blood,
Prácticamente por donde quiera.
basically everywhere.
En ese punto llegué yo y toqué a Nick del brazo.
At that moment, I went and touched Nick on his arm,
Pero esto fue muy rápido.
but it happened very quickly.
Ariel, did somebody tell you to say these things?
No le oí la pregunta, pues.
Okay. Ariel, ¿alguien le dijo a usted que dijera estas cosas?
¿Cómo lo van a hacer?
What do you mean?
¿Quién me va a decir si eso fue lo que yo recuerdo, lo que yo vi, lo que yo viví?
Who's gonna tell me if that's what I remember, what I lived, what I saw?
Can I have Exhibit 71? Ariel, Nick's the one who told you about the goggles. You didn't actually see that, right?
¿Me puede repetir la pregunta, por favor?
Can you please repeat the
Es que
question?
no oigo bien.
I was not able to hear well.
Nick told you somebody knocked the goggles off. You didn't actually see that, right?
No, nadie me dijo eso.
No, nobody told me that.
Can you turn to page 18 in that transcript?
For the interpreter, did you say 18 or 19?
18. You said on page 18 towards the bottom, well, we couldn't really see because there's a lot of people, right?
Sí.
Yes.
And then on page 19, you said he thought they took off his mask and snorkel.
Objection.
Grounds.
¿Quién pensó? Dices?
Un momento.
I just move for the admission of page 19 of exhibit 71. Let's publish it and see what it really says.
I think he's entitled to present his evidence the way he chooses. Overruled. Mr. Anderson?
On the bottom of page 19, you said he thought they took his mask and snorkel off. Do you see that?
Yo no entiendo su pregunta o lo que me quiere decir.
I don't understand your question or what you're trying to tell me.
Actually, you're right. I was misreading that. Sorry. You turn to page 20. And I'll just let you look over it quickly.
Okay.
Okay.
You talk about what you're seeing as you're walking up, kind of like today, agreed? Right?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay. And then on page 21, actually, go back to page 20. You never said he got knocked down and attacked a girl when he got back up. Or a girl attacked him when he got back up. Right?
¿Me puede repetir? No entiendo el traductor.
Can you repeat? I did not understand the interpreter.
You told the police that you saw the goggles get knocked out of his hand.
Sí.
Le dijo a la
You-
policía. Yes.
You said people were hitting him.
Sí.
Yes.
You never said anything about him getting knocked down and then getting up and a girl trying to attack him. Right?
Sí, dije que lo están golpeando.
Yes, I said that they were hitting him.
You said the description you gave was they started beating him, women as well as men. That's the description you gave, right?
Sí.
Yes.
And then you told law enforcement you never got close to Nick.
Sí, dije eso.
Yes, I said that.
And when law enforcement were talking to you, you said you got about here to, you pointed to a house across the street, right?
Creo, más lejos, creo.
I think it was farther.
You were, so you testified earlier, you got up and touched Nick's shoulder, right?
Sí.
Yes.
But when you spoke with police, you said you never got close to him. You said the closest you got was, you pointed to a house across the street. That's the closest you got to him, right?
No, yo le dije que me había acercado a él,
No, I did tell them that I had gotten closer to him,
pero no recordaba si había llegado cerca de él.
but I did not remember if I had gotten close to him or not.
So, de policía me enseñó una foto que sí llegué cerca de él.
And so the police showed me a picture showing me that I had actually gotten close to him.
Como les digo, todo pasó muy rápido.
And like I said, everything
no-
happened so quickly.
He podido hasta el momento asimilar bien cómo pasó todo.
Even now, it's been difficult to realize how everything happened.
Police asked you, did you stop close to Nick? And you said, no, because I didn't get to maybe from here to that other house. You never came close to Nick, not close, close. Right?
Les dije que no me había acercado tan cerca, pero no recuerdo qué distancia le dije. Sí.
I told them that I had not come close or too close to him, but I don't remember the distance.
Then you said, no, I didn't get to maybe from here to that other house. And you pointed to a house across the street, right? And then you say once you get close to him, that's when he started running, right?
No, no me acuerdo de haber dicho.
No, I don't remember saying that.
Look at, can you turn to page 24? You were asked, are you close to him? Look, you're together right there with him, right?
Sí.
Yes.
That's because you said you never got close, so police showed you a photo of you touching his shoulder, right?
Sí.
Yes.
And then you said, but that was when he started running by then.
No recuerdo, la verdad.
I really don't remember.
It's in the transcript, right?
Puede ser.
Maybe.
You see it?
Pero no me acuerdo que él estuviera corriendo.
I don't remember that he was running.
But that's what you said. But
Sí, dije, pero no me acuerdo bien.
Yes, I said that, but I don't remember well.
And you told law enforcement you never saw Nick do anything to anyone, right?
En un punto sí dije que como que él no había hecho nada, ¿no? Pero sí, yo había visto que se estaba defendiendo.
At some point, yes, I did say that he had done nothing, but I did see that he was defending himself.
When you were showing a picture of Nick with a knife, you said, I never saw that. Right?
Sí,
Yes.
I'm gonna show some stills, Judge.
How much more do you have?
I'm almost done. Wow.
You're almost done. You have a lot.
Do you want?
I'd like to get through this witness before breaking.
Gotcha. That's what I was wondering. I'll let the clerk know when I'm ready. Can we have the monitor? Ariel, that's you in the background, right? On 2864.
¿dónde dice?
Where?
Right here.
Oh, sí.
Oh, yes.
I'm gonna scroll. And police, I stopped on 3032. Police showed you this and asked you about it, and you said you never saw any of that, right?
No, le dije que no me acordaba haber llegado ahí.
No, I told them that I did not remember getting there.
So when you're really far away on your way there, you see the goggles get knocked out of his hands, right?
Sí, eso es lo que distinguía ver.
The interpreter needs a repetition. No lo escuché, repita.
Sí, es lo que distinguía ver.
Yes, that's what I could distinguish, or that's what I could see.
And then as you're getting closer to him, you start to see other things happening, right?
Le había dicho que lo estaban golpeando.
I had mentioned that he was getting beaten.
But then when police ask you about what happened when you're there, you said you didn't see any of that. Correct?
Sí, no me acordaba que había llegado ahí.
Yes, I did not remember that I had gotten there.
You forgot about that?
Es porque por lo que viví, no me acordaba exactamente con lo que había pasado.
Because of what I lived, I did not remember exactly what had happened. because of what I went through.
Nicolai never yelled, help, right?
Nosotros nunca oímos.
We
Estaba muy
never
lejos.
heard. We were too far.
Even when Nicolai came right next to you, he didn't say anything to you. He didn't say, help.
No, él nunca habló conmigo.
No, he never spoke to me. He never talked to me.
He never said, we need to get out of here.
No hablamos, que me acuerdo yo.
As far as I
Ya
remember,
empezamos a caminar para atrás.
we didn't talk. We just started walking.
Well, Nicolai walked out first, right? And you stayed there.
No me recuerdo bien.
I don't remember well.
Can we have the monitor again?
Why don't we take our break? We're going to take about a 10-minute recess. Please take the jury out.
All lines for the jury.
Let's come back at 3:15.
inside your eyes. Can you feel the rush? Closing the gap we made. Oh, how I miss your touch. Push through the ceiling now. We can.
Please be seated. Mr. Chagüez, please retake the witness stand.
Y póngase los audífonos si me hace favor.
You
Gracias.
are still under oath.
Sigue bajo juramento.
Sí.
Okay. Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Do you remember the officer asking or that if it was this attack, why didn't you run? You didn't look afraid. Do you remember that question?
Sí.
Yes.
And you said, we didn't know what was happening, right?
En parte al principio no sabíamos, pues.
Repita que no lo escuché.
I'll read the question for more
Interpreter
context.
needs a repetition of the answer. She was not able to hear. Repita su respuesta, es que no lo escuché, señor.
Que me repita la pregunta.
Can you repeat the question?
The officer asked, you walked on one side, but you never ran as if you were afraid. Like the others in the other two groups, they ran. They were afraid, but you didn't run. You didn't look so afraid. Neither did your group. And you responded, we didn't know what was happening, right?
No me acuerdo haber dicho eso.
I don't remember having said that.
It's in the transcript on page 31, right? That you did in fact say that? I'll show you.
Pero eso que me pregunta es después del problema o antes. No entiendo su pregunta.
My question is, are you talking about after the problem or before? I don't understand your question.
You didn't tell the officer you didn't understand, right?
Could you repeat the question? We couldn't hear you.
He didn't tell the officer he didn't understand the question.
Usted no le dijo al agente de policía que no había entendido la pregunta, ¿verdad?
No entiendo su pregunta. Me está preguntando primero una cosa y después otra.
I don't understand your
¿Puede ser más
question.
específico, por favor?
You're first asking me one thing and then another thing. Could you please be more specific?
I'll move on. You were watching the trial and the testimony of Ernesto while out in the hallway, right?
No.
No.
Were you sitting on the bench with the other Spanish-speaking witnesses while Rosie was playing the trial with the volume on?
Yo estaba del otro lado.
I was on the other side.
Were you told by defense that you're not allowed to watch the trial
Sí.
Yes.
Nothing else.
Mr. Nelson?
Judge, I move for the omission of Exhibit 71, pages 18 through 24 per 90801 sub 4 sub A sub C.
Any objection?
Yes, I don't object to many parts we've gone over.
Is number 71?
Exhibit 71, those 6 pages, 18 through 24.
I'll receive the exhibit, pages reference for purposes of impeachment.
Permission to publish those pages.
Yes.
Guess I just need to admit all the transcripts.
Well, it's not your turn, it's his, so you can wait.
Do you have Exhibit 71? Do you have any objections? Eighteen through 24.
Is it working?
I need to turn it on, that's my user error.
Sometimes it's a little finicky. I've got it up on mine, it's not, there we go.
Ariel, you were asked a lot of questions about a transcript.
Sí.
Yes.
Go through pages 18 through 24 of that transcript as quick as we can, okay? Is it up on the screen there? Can you see it?
Sí.
Yes.
Page 18, did you say we all looked over there and we saw a lot? There were 2 groups in front of us?
Sí.
Yes.
Did you say you couldn't really see what was happening?
Sí.
Yes.
Did you say you couldn't see because there was a lot of people and then you got a little closer?
Sí.
Yes.
Did you tell them it was like they were bullying him, something like that?
Sí.
Yes.
Tell them they took off his snorkel and that stuff?
Sí.
Yes.
Did you tell them that they were pushing him and that there were a lot of people?
Sí.
Yes.
They asked you more questions about the snorkel and you said, no, I saw that they took it off of him?
No.
No.
Did you say the words, I saw that they took it off him?
Sí.
Yes.
And then they asked you to explain, and did you say, from his hand, or they took it from him, or they took it out of his hand, or something like that?
De las manos.
From his hands.
You said the words that are on page 20 of this document.
Sí.
You told them they pushed
Yes.
him, he fell, he fell.
Sí.
Yes.
You told them he got up and they started beating him, women as well as men. Were those your words?
Yes.
Sí.
Yes.
They asked, everyone was hitting him from what you could tell, and you said, uh-huh.
Todos le estaban pegando, es lo que yo podía ver, ¿verdad? Y dijo, no, pues se podía ver, dijo, ajá.
Sí.
Yes.
You told them you weren't able to see, so you kept walking up there, and that's when you stopped.
Siguió caminando y paró.
Sí.
Yes.
You said that you saw that he was running away. That's what you initially told them, correct?
And could you please repeat for the interpreters?
You initially told the police on August 2nd, on page 22 in this line, that you saw that he, meaning Nick Miu, was running away from there.
De separarse de ellos.
No me acuerdo si lo dije. No, no entiendo la pregunta que me hicieron ahí.
I don't remember if I said that. I don't understand the question that was asked of me there.
Is that probably why you formed it with a question afterwards when you made that statement?
Por eso es que le puso un signo de interrogación ahí cuando hizo esa afirmación.
Quizás.
Perhaps.
You said, I only saw that they were beating him.
Vi que le estaban pegando a él.
Sí, dije eso.
I did say that.
And then eventually the police showed you a picture. Is that right?
Fotografía, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Yes.
It was a picture of you standing next to Nick on July 30th, 2022, when he was had the knife in his hand. Agreed?
La navaja en la mano.
Sí.
Yes.
And that picture refreshed your memory as to where you were, and
Sustained.
did that picture help you remember things that you hadn't remembered before?
Un poco, sí.
Somewhat, yes.
Nevertheless, even when you saw the picture, you said you didn't see him with the knife.
Nunca le vi la navaja.
Repita más fuerte. Sí.
Nunca le pude ver la navaja.
I was never able to see him with a knife.
You were asked some questions about some slides. Do you remember the slides that they showed where they kind of moved it along?
Que si vi la foto.
You're asking me if I saw the picture?
Today, when this man was asking you questions, they put up on the screen the time when you were walking towards Nick. And I want to ask you about what you remember from that. Does that make sense?
Sí, un poco.
Yes, a little.
When you spoke with the police, you told them he got up and they started beating him, women as well as men. Is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
And then today in your testimony, you said, when closer, I saw a girl went to attack him and he defended himself. I think that it was with his hands, but it happened too quickly. That's what you said earlier today.
Sí.
Yes.
When we watched the pictures today where you were walking up, is that what you were describing? The woman in that photo going towards Nick, went to attack him, and you...
Sustained.
Good. Did you see some photos today? I'll show them to you again. Let's do that. Can I have the screen, please? Do you see the slide that I have up on the screen there, sir?
Sí.
Yes.
Is that you in the red shorts, the red, white, and blue shorts?
Sí.
Yes.
I want to show you a section of slides here and then ask you a question about them, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Starting at 25, 29, I'll move through them. Stopping at 28:59. Is that you again in the shorts?
Sí. Sí.
Yes. Yes.
Stopping at 29:49. Is that you up in the corner there that we can see the shirt with the glasses?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you see that there's a girl there in front of the view here, which would be in front of you?
¿Me puedes repetir el traductor lo que dijo?
Can the interpreter repeat?
Sí.
Yes.
Is this the girl that you saw attack Nick Miu?
Overruled, or overruled. You can answer.
No recuerdo si fue ella.
I don't remember if it was her.
That's all.
Mr. Anderson?
Judge, I'd ask to publish some more pages of it, and I would propose I just read it for the sake of brevity. Or I can just go through it again, like everyone else has been.
Objection
Mr.
to
Anderson?
admission of the rest of the pages?
Mr. Anderson, the interpreters are not able to hear you.
I move to admit the whole transcript.
The objection to the rest of the pages of Exhibit 71?
Yes, I don't have an objection to pages that were covered during the cross-examination, and if those pages are admitted, I have no objection to them being published on the elbow now or at a later time.
What portions do you want to publish?
So I think up to 21 was entered. I'd
24.
up to the rest of it. Up to page 38, they cover the same topics that have been, actually page 40, they cover all the same topics that we've been covering on direct and cross.
He was not asked questions about page 25 through 40.
Okay, so I can do that now.
I honestly, I was not keeping track of what pages you were looking at, so I'm not in a good position to say yes or no. Specific pages. And I don't have a copy of the transcript, so I'm at a disadvantage.
Can we approach?
Yes. All right, the objection's overruled. I'll receive the portions referenced by Mr. Anderson. So I think that in total, it's going to be pages 18 through 40.
Yes.
All right. You may proceed.
So when you spoke with the officer, you said Nick walked up to you, walked over, and then you saw people bleeding, right?
Yes.
You didn't talk about seeing anything else. You didn't talk about seeing Nick do anything.
No.
And when law enforcement confronted you with the photo of being right there, you still denied seeing anything from when you were up close.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes or no?
Repita la pregunta. ¿No?
Repeat the question.
You told the officer you didn't get close enough to see what Nick was doing, right?
Objection asked and answered.
Overruled.
Right?
En un punto, sí.
At some point, yes.
And then the officer showed you the photo of you touching Nick, right?
Sí.
Yes.
And you still denied seeing him do anything.
No sigo entendiendo su pregunta.
I'm still not understanding your question.
Said I have no objection to publishing page 24, which has already been published, which is the exact response that he gives.
You never tell police that you saw Nick defend himself, right?
No me acuerdo si lo dijo o no.
I don't remember that day, no.
Did you ever use the word defend at all in your entire interview?
De defenderse, no me acuerdo.
The,
Ya pasó mucho tiempo, no me acuerdo.
to defend himself, I don't remember. It's been a long time.
Today, you remember seeing him saying you saw him defend himself.
Sí, un poco.
Yes, a little.
That's the first time you've ever said that.
Le dije cuando usted me preguntó que lo vi que él se estaba defendiendo.
I said when you asked me that I saw that he was defending himself,
Pero que fue muy rápido, había muchas personas alrededor.
but that it happened so quickly. There were many people around.
Is your memory better now than it was 2 years ago when you were interviewed?
Me recuerdo un poco, le digo, por la foto que me enseñaron.
I remember a little. I said because of the picture that was shown to me.
I'll just show. You have the transcript. Yeah, published page 4.
Yes.
You were asked, you never spoke to, not with, amongst yourself as friends, cousins, wife.
Mr. Anderson, the interpreters are not able to hear you.
Sure. You were asked if you ever spoke amongst yourselves or with Nick about what happened. And
No.
you said,
No.
just that we don't know because we didn't see anything. You can't say, oh, something happened, right? We didn't see anything. Right?
Sí, dije eso, porque no habíamos visto bien qué pasó.
If I said that, it's because we had not seen what had happened very well.
And you saw Nick getting attacked by all these people. And nobody came after you, did they?
No.
And
No.
you and Nick didn't run away, right?
Objection beyond scope, repetitive, cumulative.
I'll move on. Thank you.
Oh, I said I was done. Sorry.
Oh.
I didn't, thought everyone
Thought you
heard.
were moving on to another topic. I'm sorry.
No.
Thank you, Mr. Chaguez. Your testimony is finished. You may step down.
Can I go home or
Yes, you may.
si
Enjoy
ya
the
se puede
weekend.
ir? Que tenga buen fin de
Bye.
semana.
Are there more witnesses who require interpretation?
The defense has no more witnesses that require interpretation, no, Judge.
Mr. Anderson?
No more interpretation witnesses.
On behalf of our courts, Ms. Marine, Mr. Diaz, thank you for your service today. Yes, you may retrieve your device. Could you slide that down to the middle of the rail? Yeah, just move it down. Right there. Perfect. I'd turn it toward us. This way. Excellent, thank you. Mr. Anderson, do you have more witnesses?
Approach quick.
Yes. Mr. Anderson?
State calls Amber Lind.
Ms. Lynn, please come forward. Please face the clerk, raise your right hand. She will administer the oath.
Do you swear that the testimony you will ask in this matter shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes, I do.
Please have a seat in the witness chair. Mr. Anderson?
Can you please state your name and spell your last name?
Amber Lind, Lind.
And how are you employed?
I am a forensic scientist in the DNA analysis unit at the Wisconsin State Crime Lab in Madison.
And how long have you been employed at the State Crime Lab?
About 13 years.
What's your educational background for your position?
I received a Bachelor of Science degree in chemistry with an emphasis in criminalistics and DNA analysis.
And have you received training specifically related to DNA testing?
Yes, I have.
And what did you say your actual position is?
I'm a DNA analyst.
What do you do in that position?
I examine evidence for the presence of biological materials. I then attempt to develop a profile from those DNA profile from those items. I will then compare that to any known standards that are submitted to the laboratory and write a report of my findings.
And can you just, in a broader sense, what is DNA?
DNA is the genetic material that is inherited from parent to child. It controls how all living things are made and gives us unique traits such as our eye and hair colors.
And where is DNA found?
DNA is found in the nucleus in most cells of the body, including white blood cells, skin cells, hair roots.
And are you able to do a pre-test for certain types of bodily fluids?
Yes, we are.
And what kind of fluids?
We can do tests for blood, semen, and saliva.
And what's the utility in doing those pre-tests?
That helps us to identify if there are any bodily fluids on the item, as a body fluid is more likely to give us a DNA profile.
And what's the difference between a bodily fluid DNA versus touch DNA?
So DNA from the body fluid is going to be from the blood cells or semen cells, and touch DNA is from skin cells, so it's left like when somebody comes in contact with an item and they leave skin cells behind.
So if I pick up this marker and you test it for touch DNA, are you going to find my DNA?
It's possible.
Is it guaranteed?
No.
Does it depend on a lot of factors?
Yes, it does.
Such as if it's washed or submerged in water or things like that?
Yes.
Is a person's DNA the same throughout their entire body?
Yes, it is.
And what makes DNA useful? Can people share DNA, have the same DNA?
Identical twins would have the same DNA.
And so what are the procedures at the crime lab when you receive an item of evidence?
So the item is taken in at the laboratory. One of our evidence technicians will go through the transmittal that's submitted with the items, and they will enter it all into our laboratory information management system.
Okay, approach.
Yes.
I'm handing you what's been marked as Exhibit 65. Can you identify that?
This is the transmittal of evidence that was submitted for this case.
And does it list the items that the lab received?
Yes, it does.
And does it list the agency identifier number?
Yes.
Does the lab then give it a new identifier number?
Yes, we do.
And does that document also identify the lab numbers?
No,
Is
it
that a
does
different
not.
document?
That's different.
Okay. What's on page, and let me ask this. So does this say how the lab received the evidence?
No, it does not.
Okay. And then Exhibit 66, what's that?
This is the laboratory's receipt of evidence.
When is that generated?
That is generated when the items of evidence are entered into our lab information system.
And is there another receipt generated when the items are returned from the lab to the submitting law enforcement agency?
Yes, there is.
And just to clarify, 65 is the receipt of evidence for this case, 66 is the one the lab generates. Sorry, 65 the transmittal, 66 the receipt for the lab.
Correct.
67.
That is the list of items that are being released back to the agency.
So after you're done testing it, you send it back to the agency and generate that document for chain of custody.
Yes.
And then exhibit 19.
That is my report of my lab findings for this case.
And I'll just back up a little bit. So when you run a DNA profile, is it always a single source or can it be multiple source?
It can be DNA from multiple individuals.
And is there a term you use for that?
We call that a mixture DNA profile.
And how do you determine then if a person's DNA is on a specific item of evidence?
We will compare the DNA profile that we obtain from the evidence to a known DNA standard that is submitted to the lab from an individual.
And do you perform statistical analysis on the profile you develop?
Yes, we do.
And how do you evaluate the significance of the profile?
If it is a single source profile, we are able to determine how rare that profile would be in the general population.
Do you use computer software to help with that?
Yes, we do.
And if you have DNA, can you say that this DNA is from skin, this DNA is from blood, this DNA is from hair?
No, we can't.
Are you able to determine how long DNA has been on an item?
No.
All right. Turning to the specifics of this case, did you test some evidence items?
Yes.
And what items did you test?
I examined a pair of swim trunks, a knife, DNA standards hair and nails that were reportedly recovered from Isaac Michael Schuman, a buccal swab standard reportedly recovered from Alexander James Martin, a buccal swab standard reportedly recovered from Rhyley Mattison, a buccal swab standard reportedly recovered from Dante Austin Carlson, a buccal swab standard that was reportedly recovered from Anthony Ernest Carlson, and a Wisconsin State Crime Lab Biomedical Forensic Evidence Collection Kit that was reportedly recovered from Nicolae Miu.
And for those, for Isaac Schuman, Alexander Martin, Rhyley Mattison, Dante Carlson, and Anthony Carlson, were you able to develop DNA profiles?
Yes, I was.
And did you make comparisons with those profiles to swabbings from the knife?
Yes, I did.
And are those swabbings, is that something that you get from law enforcement, or did you do those swabs?
I took the swabbings from the knife.
What areas of the knife did you swab?
I swabbed the handle of the knife, the inside of the handle, like where the blade would fold into. I swabbed a stain that I observed on the blade of the knife, and I also swabbed the remainder of the blade of the knife.
And then were you able to develop DNA profiles from those swabbings of the knife?
Yes, I was.
And were all of them or only some suitable for comparison? Actually, I'll ask it a different way. So let's talk about swabbings of the handle of the knife. And for the lab identifier, that's B1, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And did you compare and the DNA profile for the handle of the knife, was that a mixture or a single profile?
That was a 3-person mixture.
And did you compare that to the profiles of Isaac, Alexander, Rhyley, Dante, Anthony, and Nicolai?
Yes, I did.
What was the result for the comparison to the DNA profile for Isaac?
It was at least 1 quadrillion times more likely to observe this DNA profile if it is a mixture of DNA from Isaac Schuman and 2 unknown individuals than if it is a mixture resulting from 3 unknown individuals.
And so the conclusion is very strong support for inclusion, meaning that Isaac's DNA is included in that mixture.
Correct.
Does the lab ever say, will you ever conclude it's a match or his DNA is on this knife?
We don't say that it's this specific individual. We will just provide the statistic on how likely it is that that is their DNA.
And does it have to meet a certain likelihood threshold for you to say strong support for inclusion?
Yes, it does.
And this is greater than, what did you say the likelihood ratio is?
It is at least 1 quadrillion times more likely.
And then for Alexander Martin, were you able to draw any conclusion?
The contribution of Alexander Martin's DNA is uninformative, so we cannot make a conclusion regarding inclusion or exclusion.
And was that the same for Rhyley, Dante, Anthony, and Nicolai?
Yes.
And then swabbings from the inside of the knife handle B2, did you compare that? Did you develop a profile for that swabbing?
Yes, I did.
Mixture again?
Yes.
And did you compare that to Isaac's profile?
Yes, I did.
What was the results?
It is at least 320 billion times more likely to observe this DNA profile if it is a mixture of DNA from Isaac Schuman and 3 unknown individuals than if it is a mixture of DNA from 4 unknown individuals.
And so very strong support for inclusion.
Yes.
And then what about for that knife handle, did you compare it to Dante Carlson?
Yes, I did.
And what was the result?
It is at least 368,000 times more likely to observe this DNA profile if it is a mixture resulting from Dante Carlson and 3 unknown individuals than if it is a mixture of 4 unknown individuals.
So strong support for inclusion?
Yes.
Did you compare the other individuals for that swabbing also?
Yes, I did.
And were they either exclusion or uninformative?
Yes, they were.
And then and let me back up, I forgot to ask. Before you took the DNA swabbings, did you test the knife for blood?
I tested the stain that I observed on the blade.
And what was the results?
It was a positive indication for blood.
And did you develop a DNA profile for the stain?
Yes, I did.
That's item B3?
Yes.
B3. And was there any of those individual profiles you compared them to a strong support for inclusion on the stain?
Yes.
Who was that?
That was for Dante Carlson.
And then the blade of the knife, item B4. Did you develop a DNA profile?
Yes, I did.
And was there, comparing it to Isaac, Alexander, Rhyley, Dante, Anthony, and Nicolai, were any of their profiles very strong support for inclusion on that swabbing?
Yes, there was.
And who were those?
That was for Isaac Schuman and Dante Carlson.
So is it fair to summarize that of the people, those 6 profiles you compared to the knife swabbings, the 2 that had strong supports for inclusions on any of the swabs was Isaac Schuman and Dante Carlson?
Correct.
Does that mean that the other individual's DNA wasn't on the knife?
It just means that it wasn't detected in the samples that I had taken.
And it not only not detected, but it would, even if it was, it didn't reach the threshold where you would characterize it as a strong support for inclusion.
Correct.
And I forgot an exhibit here. I think it's been marked as exhibit 59. What is that?
This is my curriculum vitae.
Is it fair, it just summarizes your experience in education to qualify you for your position?
Yes,
I don't know if I asked, how long have you been at the lab?
about 13 years.
Okay. And for Nicolai, for all the swabbings you did as compared to Nicolai's profile, was he ever excluded? Looking at Exhibit 19.
Ernesto and Sergio.
Pero Ariel fue primero, perdón.
But Ariel was the first one.
And were they walking over to that area?
Sí.
Yes.
Nobody, and when I mean nobody, Ariel, Ernesto, and Sergio, they didn't run over to help Nick, right?
No, yo no vi ninguno correr.
No, I didn't see anybody running.
Did you see Nick in trouble, or did you just hear that he was in trouble?
Yo escuché que él estaba en problemas.
I heard that he was in trouble.
And I think you said that you saw Nick walking back toward your group. Is that
Sí.
right?
Yes.
And when he's walking back toward your group, you saw him kind of go over to the edge of the river bank. Is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
And if you can tell us about how far away were you from that riverbank area that you saw Nick walk over to?
Era como de aquí a la puerta.
It was like from here to the door.
Lo que tiene el río de ancho.
The width of the river.
And when you saw him walk over to that area, I saw you make a motion with your hand, kind of like pushing it out in front of you. Is that fair?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay. So and I think you said in your statement to police that you believe he was discarding something.
Él tiró algo, fue mi palabra.
Yeah, he threw something out there. That was what I said.
And when he threw, you don't know what he threw, is that right?
No, no sé.
No, I don't know.
But the way and manner in which he threw it was the manner that I'm showing you right now, kind of, and he moves his hand away from his body, kind of like that.
Correcto.
Correct.
Did you see Mr. Miu walk over after he discarded this object? Did you see him walk over to the object, or did he head back toward your group?
Se dirigió al grupo de nosotros.
He walked to the group, to our group.
Okay. And I think you told police that when he walked back to your group, he appeared white and pale. Is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
He really wasn't talking. Is that right?
Él dijo que le quitaron la navaja.
He said they took away the knife.
Is that the only thing that he said to you?
Y que se iba a ir para los árboles atrás de nosotros.
And that he was going to go by the trees behind us.
Now, when you talked to the police, you never told the police that Mr. Miu was looking to go into the tree area. Is that true?
Cuando usted me dice que yo hablé con la policía, ¿fue cuando salimos del río o cuando ellos llegaron a mi casa a hablar conmigo?
When you say that I didn't say that when I talked to the police, are you talking about the time I talked to the police by the river or when they went to see me at my home?
When they went to your home, they sat with you for a while and spoke to you. Is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
And they were asking you questions about what you saw and what you heard, right?
Sí.
Yes.
They were asking you details about what Nick Miu did that day, right?
Ujú. Sí.
Yes.
And during this interview that you gave with police, you never mentioned to the police that Mr. Miu wanted to walk into the area by the trees.
Honestamente, no lo recuerdo en ese momento si yo lo dije.
I honestly don't remember if I said that at that moment.
So you don't have a recollection, a memory of whether you told that to the police or not. Is that fair?
No, no recuerdo.
No, I don't remember.
Had Nick previously that day gone into the woods to go to the bathroom?
No que yo viera.
No, I didn't see that.
You described to the police when Nick came back to your group, you described him as being looking scared. Is that fair?
Correcto.
Correct.
And you knew that Nick had a knife with him that day. Is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
And you knew he had the knife to cut the rope on the tubes. That's why he had brought it. Is that right?
Sí, cierto.
Yes, that's true.
Is it fair you told your group, people in your group, to call 911? Is that right?
No recuerdo.
I don't remember.
Your group stayed at that location for some time. Is that true?
Sí.
Yes.
Did you see Nick? Nick didn't run up into the woods. True?
No.
No.
He sat in his tube. Is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
How long do you think your group sat there before moving on?
No sé. No podría decir un tiempo.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you, well, how much time we
we were there.
You had mentioned that you wanted to move where you were sitting in your tube. Is that true?
Sí.
Yes.
And I think you mentioned to the police that you wanted to move in your tube because you were concerned or afraid of the situation. Is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
It wasn't anything that Nick had said or done to you that made you want to move, right?
No, nada de eso.
No, nothing like that.
Do you remember whether or not Nick Miu had his phone with him during that time?
No.
No.
Terrible question. You don't. Did he or did he not have his phone, or don't you remember?
No recuerdo. No tengo una memoria como específica de eso, muy vago.
I don't remember. I don't have a clear recollection of that in my memory. Yeah.
When Nick came back to the tubes, I think you said it became quiet.
Sí.
Yes.
No one was really talking.
No.
No.
Tatiana decía como, algo pasó, ¿qué habrá pasado?
May I ask for a repetition of the?
Solamente Tatiana decía, algo pasó, ¿qué será lo que ha pasado? Pero nada más.
Tatiana was the only one who said something happened, but nothing else. Something must have happened.
Did Nick appear? Nick appeared to be in shock, right?
Sí.
Yes.
When Nick came back to your tubes, did he just sit in the tube?
Sí, que yo recuerde, sí.
Yes. As far as I remember, yes.
You didn't see him run away from the tubes and try to get away from you guys, is that right?
No.
No.
And you were with a gentleman, if you know, by the name of Eric. Is that right? He was with your group?
Sí, andaba un muchacho ahí, pero no lo conozco.
Yes, there was a guy there, but I didn't know him.
Is it okay? Ms. Costanza, do you remember seeing this gentleman
Sí.
with your group?
Yes.
Sí.
Yes.
And that's Eric Von Williams. I don't know if you know his name.
Sí, recuerdo el nombre cuando me lo presentaron.
Yes, I remember the name when they introduced us.
And Mr. Von Williams went over to at least try to render aid or help. Is that right? Do you remember that?
No, yo no vi el momento que él caminó hacia, no sé.
I didn't see him walking at that. I didn't see when he was walking.
Did you see the number of people that were in the other groups?
Eran varias personas, pero no puse atención cuántas eran.
There were several people there, but I didn't pay attention on the number of people.
But you believe that Nick was the only member of your group from over there, right?
Sí.
Yes.
I don't have any other questions.
Mr. Anderson, do you have more questions?
Yes. Were you the only one who saw Nick throw something?
Nunca he hablado con los del grupo de esto. No sé si ellos miraron.
I never talked to the group about that. I don't know if they saw that.
Did you know that was important information to tell police?
Bueno, sí.
Well, yes.
When Nick came back, do you know if the look was shock or fear or something else?
Como en shock.
Like in shock.
And when you're leaving, you specifically did not want to sit by Nicolai because you were afraid to sit close to him, right?
Sí.
Yes.
Nothing else.
Mr. Trofficy?
You didn't know what happened. Is that fair?
No.
No.
So you weren't afraid to sit next to him because of anything he had done, correct?
No.
No.
You were afraid in part because of the look on his face, right?
Correcto.
Correct.
The shock that he had on his face concerned you, right?
Sí.
Yes.
That's the reason that you didn't want to sit next to him, right?
Podría decir que sí.
You could say that, yes.
That's all I have. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Costanza. You may step down. Is she released?
No.
Someone please collect the headset. How is everyone doing? Does anybody need a break? Let's continue then. Mr. Anderson, who is the next witness?
Can I have 1 minute, Judge?
Yes.
Actually, could we? He calls Alba Torres.
Ms. Torres, please raise your right hand. The clerk will administer the oath.
Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give in this matter shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Please have a seat in the witness chair. Mr. Anderson.
Can you please state your name for the record?
Alba Rosa Torres.
Alba Rosa Torres.
And can you, Alba, were you tubing with Nicolai on July 30, 2022?
Sí.
Yes.
And I want to direct your attention to about the time the phone was lost, if you remember that.
Sí.
Yes.
Sometime after the phone was lost, was there some sort of disturbance?
¿Puede repetir, por favor?
Can you repeat that, please?
Sometime after the phone was lost, was there some sort of commotion or disturbance?
Sí.
Yes.
What do you remember about that?
No, no mucho, porque no vi.
Not much because I didn't see.
You didn't see anything about what happened downriver?
Ya había pasado todo.
Everything had already happened.
So you just weren't looking in that direction?
No.
No.
Do you remember hearing screaming or seeing people with bloody injuries at all?
Alguien me dijo que llamara 911, nada más, que estaba pasando algo.
Somebody told me to call 911. That's it. They said something was going on.
And Alba, I forgot to ask, did you know Nicolai before that day on the river?
Sí.
Yes.
How long had you known him?
Como 5 o 6 años.
About 5 or 6 years.
Were you friends?
Sí.
Yes.
So after, did you say Tatiana told you to call 911?
Sí.
Yes.
After that, did a person from your group leave to go help with the injured?
Sí.
Yes.
And do you remember who that was?
Eric.
Eric.
And was the reason your group didn't leave sooner because Eric was away helping with the victims?
Nope.
No.
You told police, you remember telling the police about how you're impressed with how Eric responded to the situation?
No.
No.
Do you remember anything you told law enforcement about Eric and
Solo que había salido a ayudar.
Only that he had gone there to help.
Do you remember telling law enforcement that your group called Eric back to your group so you could leave?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you remember telling law enforcement that that man conducted himself very well, and that's why we were waiting so long until the police came?
Sí.
Yes.
Because he was away from your group, so you had to wait for him to come back, right?
Sí.
Yes.
Sorry.
And was when you saw people who were injured, were you wondering or trying to figure out who did it? Who was the person who caused those injuries?
No sabía, pero sí.
I didn't know, but yes.
And when you eventually left from the sandbar, Nicolai was wearing his hat, sunglasses, and jacket, right?
Cuando estábamos tubo,
When we were tubing,
Yes.
su chaqueta,
his jacket.
pero no recuerdo si los lentes. Yo no recuerdo si lentes.
But I don't remember if he was wearing sunglasses.
What about a hat?
No recuerdo.
I don't remember.
And when you spoke with law enforcement, you gave them a video you took after you left the sandbar. Do you remember that?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay, use your laptop. May I approach?
Yes.
This is Exhibit 85, Judge. I'm just going to show it to Elba. Attorney Anderson, you don't have to lay foundation. Gotcha. Okay. I just asked to move to admit 85, ask to publish.
Any objection to 85?
No, sir.
Received. You may publish.
He has something like hammer in his hand.
Just take a picture and save it.
I don't take a picture, take a video. I take a video. Look.
Just take whatever.
Look what he has in his hand. Look. Emmy, get out there. Look. Tell you. He have something in his hand. Emmy.
Just take a video, just take a picture, take whatever.
Yeah.
If it's anything,
Take a video.
just take a picture, take a video, take whatever. We don't know if it's anything to do with anything, but just take it.
Se cayeron, man.
Just take.
So,
I
sit
try.
down over there. Everybody put your ass out.
Ernesto,
And
mueve
now-
para allá.
¿Eh?
Mueve para allá.
No, pero donde quiera va a estar la roca, lo que levanten el
Escúchame.
tubo y aguanten.
Escúchame.
You gotta go over the rapids.
Para allá.
But just take video.
He waiting for something.
Just take a video.
I know. I tried, but maybe I can't. Porque él estaba viniendo desde allá con una cosa en la mano, un martillo.
Hold your phone. We're going over the rapids. Over the rapids.
And he waiting.
Avanza y
Oh, but that was a video you took after you left the sandbar when you were going to the exit, right?
Sí.
Yes.
And in the beginning of the video, is that Nick that you see paddling with his hand? Do you remember, or do you need to see it again?
Vi que iban ahí, pero yo estaba pendiente a lo que estaba haciendo.
Yeah, I'm talking.
Just a moment. The interpreter needs a repetition. Repite, por favor.
Que sí, estaba con nosotros ahí, pero yo estaba tomando mi video porque estaba asustada.
I saw that he was there. He was there with us, but I was taking the video because I was scared.
Were you scared because you didn't know where the person was that had hurt those people?
Sí.
Yes.
And you thought maybe the guy up on the shore was the person who did it?
Sí.
Yes.
Did it turn out to be an employee of the tubing company?
No sé.
I don't know.
Do you remember telling law enforcement that it turned out it was an employee of the tubing company?
Yo no recuerdo.
I don't remember.
And do you remember telling police that you were wrong, that it was a hammer, that was because you're poor English, you used the wrong word?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you remember what was in his hand?
No recuerdo,
I don't remember.
pero algo tenía.
But he had something.
Was it maybe a radio, or couldn't you see?
Ay, yo no sé, no recuerdo.
I don't know. I don't remember.
And was it, did you hear in the video somebody saying in English, "You're almost there"?
No.
No.
When do you recall telling law enforcement that when Nick came back to the group, he appeared calm?
Yo lo vi normal.
I saw him just normal.
And that was the time that you remember seeing blood everywhere and injured people?
No vi a nadie lastimado, solo de lejos vi que algo pasaba.
I didn't see anybody injured. I only saw that from something was going on far away.
And Nick, when you saw Nick, you described him as being calm.
Yo lo vi normal,
I saw him normal.
todos asustados.
We were all scared.
I don't have anything else.
Mr. Shropshire?
Alba, you and your group were tubing with Nick and his wife. on the Apple River that day, is that right?
Correcto.
Correct.
And do you remember your group stopping at the Hideaway Bar before all of this happened? Do you remember that?
¿Me puede repetir, por favor?
Can you please repeat the question?
Do you remember your group stopping?
Sí.
And
Yes.
prior to anything that happened with the other group?
Antes.
Before?
Yes.
Correcto.
Correct.
And when your group had stopped earlier in the afternoon, Nick was snorkeling around the area. Is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
And when your group is, does there come a point where Ariel loses his phone?
No, en ese momento no.
No, not at that moment, no.
Is there some point later on the trip where Ariel loses his phone?
Sí.
Yes.
And you know that Nick, because he has a snorkel and goggles, offers to go look for that phone. Is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
So Nick leaves your group and goes away looking for the phone. Is that right?
Correcto.
Correct.
Your group waits for Nick. Is that true?
Correcto.
Correct.
To your knowledge, is Nick by himself, meaning nobody else from your group goes with Nick?
Solo, creo.
By himself, yes.
And I think that you talked, when you spoke to the police, you mentioned that you saw this other group of people pushing Nick. Is that right?
No.
No.
Es que no vi.
It's because I didn't see.
Okay. Do you hear Nick's wife say that Nick's in trouble?
Correcto.
Correct.
And when his wife says Nick's in trouble, do you look to see how Nick's in trouble?
En ese momento no, porque yo estaba de espalda.
Not at that moment because my back was facing that direction.
Do you turn around to see what's happening?
No.
No.
Okay. Do you see anyone else in your group respond when Mr. Miu's wife says Nick's in trouble?
Mi hermano.
My brother. Mm-hmm.
And what's your brother's name?
Ernesto.
Ernesto.
So you see Ernesto respond. How do you see him respond?
Yo le dije, ve a ver qué pasa.
I told him, go see what's going on.
And to your knowledge, does Ernesto listen to you and do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To your knowledge, does Ernesto walk over there or does he run over there? How does he get over there?
Solo vi que salió caminando y ya casi en ese momento regresaba Nick.
I just saw him walking over in that direction, and almost at that moment, Nick was coming back.
Do you see Nick walking back to your group?
Yeah.
Yep.
And when Nick comes back to your group, he tells you that he'd been attacked, right?
Yo pregunté.
I asked.
Okay. You asked what happened, and he told you that he'd been attacked, right?
Estaban puchando, esa fue su palabra.
They were pushing. That was the word that he used.
Okay. Do you remember telling the police that Nick said five people attacked him?
Yo no recuerdo.
I don't remember.
What you do remember is him telling you they were pushing him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And you described him as calm. Was he quiet?
Callado.
Quiet.
Did he appear to be in shock to you?
¿Puede repetir?
Can you repeat?
Did he appear to be in shock to you?
Yo.
You're talking about me?
No, well, first I'm talking about Nick.
Oh.
What did you see Nick doing? How was he behaving?
Callado.
Quiet.
Do you know have you ever seen someone in shock before?
No.
No.
Did he appear to be, was he angry or upset?
No.
No.
So he tells you that he'd been pushed. Is that all he says to you about what had happened?
Correcto.
Correct.
You described you being in shock to the police. Is that right?
Claro, todos.
Of course, all of us.
Okay. And can I ask you, at that point, why did you feel the way you felt?
Porque no sabíamos qué estaba pasando, no sabíamos que tantas cosas, no sabíamos nada.
Because we didn't know what was going on. We didn't know many things. We didn't know anything.
Estábamos súper lejos nosotros.
We were really far away.
At that point, when Nick walked back to your tubes, were you in fear of the situation?
Y sin él estar también, porque estábamos todos asustados.
And also when he wasn't there, because we were all scared.
When you say we were all scared, did Nick appear to be scared to you?
No le presté atención. ¿No?
I didn't pay attention to Nick.
Did your group stayed there for some period of time after Nick came back to the tube, is that right?
Correcto.
Correct.
And do you remember about how long you were there?
No recuerdo, pero mucho. Pero...
I don't remember, but it was for a long time. Yeah.
You didn't see Nick attempt to run away from you guys, like up into the woods or anything, did you?
No,
No.
He just sat on his tube, is that right?
correcto.
Correct.
When your group headed back down the river after Nick came back, were there already police there?
Oh, ya había pasado todo prácticamente.
Oh, everything had already happened, basically.
Did your group have any contact with police at all when you were on the river?
Llamamos al 911 nomás.
We just called 911.
Tatiana.
Tatiana did.
And was that the only contact that you guys had with police or law enforcement of any kind while you were on the river?
Correcto.
Correct.
On that day, do you remember seeing Nick with sunglasses on at some points?
Yo no recuerdo.
I don't remember.
No recuerdo.
I don't remember.
Yep.
I'm going to show you exhibit 12A. Are you in this picture?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, sí. Yeah.
You're right there with the pink shoes on. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see Mr. Miu in that picture?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
If I said he's wearing sunglasses, would you agree with me?
Yes.
Yes.
If I said he's wearing the shirt that he was wearing later on, would you agree with me?
Sí.
Yes.
So if I asked you at various points during that trip, were there times that he was wearing the things you see in this picture?
¿Puedes repetir?
Can you repeat the question?
If I asked you at various points on your trip that day, were there times that he was wearing sunglasses?
Sí.
Yes.
Are there times that he was wearing this shirt?
Sí.
Yes.
Ahí estoy.
Do you need help with the device?
Let's just...
Ay, un momento.
Somebody,
Ah. Ya, perfecto. Sí, gracias. Ok, ok, gracias.
thank you.
I don't have any other questions for you, ma'am. Thank you for your time today.
Mr. Anderson, do you have more questions?
One question.
Alba, did you ever hear Nick say he wanted to leave and go into the woods, but Ernesto's told him to stay with the group?
No.
Okay. Nothing else.
Mr. Robson? Thank you, Ms. Torres. The testimony is finished.
Sí, gracias.
Thank you.
It's almost 9:30. Let's take our morning recess. We'll come back in about 15 minutes. All rise for the jury. return at 9:40. We're in recess. Please be seated. Who is the next witness?
Sergio Ruiz Leyva.
Could you spell his last name?
It's Ruiz-Leyva.
Mr. Ruiz Leyva, would you please raise your right hand? She'll administer the oath.
Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
You can answer out loud, please.
Yes.
Thank you. Please have a seat in the witness chair. Mr. Anderson.
Can you please state your name?
Sergio Liuban Ruiz Leyva.
And can you
Sergio Liuban Ruiz Leyva. Sergio Liuban Ruiz Leyva.
can you
Wait for interpretation.
Sergio Liuban Ruiz Leyva.
can you spell your middle name?
Liuvan.
Liuvan.
Sergio, were you tubing with a group of people, including Nicolai, on July 30, 2022?
Yes.
Are you on that image somewhere?
Sí.
Yes.
Where?
Del chor amarillo.
I have the yellow shorts.
And white shirt and white bucket hat?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you remember a time when you were tubing when Ariel's phone got lost?
Sí.
Yes.
And do you remember a discussion about looking for the phone or just leaving it?
¿Puedes repetir, por favor? Sí, en un momento decidieron de que no se iba a buscar el teléfono, que no querían porque la aseguranza iba a pagar el teléfono.
Yes, and at some point, they decided they didn't have to look for the phone because the insurance would pay for the phone.
Did Nicolai go look for the phone?
Sí.
Yes.
After do you remember how long? Strike that. At some point after he went to look for the phone, did you hear Sandy yell something about he's in trouble?
No.
No.
Did something catch your attention downriver?
Bueno, el grupo de personas.
Well, there was a group of people there.
And what about it caught your attention?
alrededor de Nick.
They were around Nick.
Was there a time you saw Nick down in the water?
No, porque es que había muchas personas. Estaba muy grande el grupo.
No, because there were many people. It was a large group.
Did you ever remember seeing Nick interacting with a blonde girl?
No.
No.
Can we have exhibit 45? Sergio, do you remember telling police there was a girl, if I'm not mistaken, with a black leotard?
Sí.
Yes.
Who said, go, 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 go to Nick?
Yo la vi cuando ella estaba en el grupo, que estaba en el grupo alrededor, porque era la que más se distinguía entre ellos por el color del leotard negro.
I saw her when she was around that group because she was easier to identify because of the black leotard.